How did we, Kronk?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
In this video, we're going to be looking at how to maximize the efficiency of each of our pops. Yes, your pops are terrible creatures. They tend to use things like amenities, housing, and they require food and consumer goods as upkeep. We're going to be turning everything you know about Stellaris on its head today and figuring out if we can get 100% pop upkeep reduction, 100% housing reduction, and 100% amenities usage reduction. We'll be getting each of those individually at first, and then we're going to try and see if it's possible to get all three at the same time. So stick around for all of that and more as we dive in and find out all about the new culture worker job is how we're going to achieve this nonsense. You see, all of these fantastic possibilities come down to the new culture worker job and everything it can do, or I should say the reintroduced culture worker job. Now when you build your Autocathon monument or upgrade it all the way to a Hypercoms forum, you will get 2 culture worker jobs per level. Each of those culture worker effects will vary depending on the Empire's ethics. Now what we really care about is the effects that reduce our upkeep or usage of an in-game resource. So Spiritualist will reduce our amenities usage by 2.5% per culture worker. Xenophile will reduce our pop upkeep by 2.5% per culture worker, and Egalitarian will reduce our pop housing usage by 2.5% per culture worker. All of these effects do actually double when you go to a fanatic version of that ethic as well. So they'll go from -2.5% to -5% per culture worker. Let's start with the reduction in housing, because we can of course get to -100% housing usage, meaning we never use housing at all. Here I introduce the "Can I sleep on your sofa" empire. They love houses, but they abhor to use them. This is of course going to be using our fanatic egalitarian to reduce our pop housing usage as much as possible with those culture workers. Additionally, if we go with overtuned, we can take pre-planned growth for another 10% housing usage reduction, and aquatic will reduce our housing usage on ocean worlds, so we'll start by taking that. Taking the first part of adaptability gives us another 10%. Hydrocentric is going to give a 50% increase to the effect of aquatic, giving us another 5% reduction. If we build a Hypercoms forum on our capital, that will give us a total of 30% reduction, and we can get another 10% from the 4th level of greater good, balance in the middle. Finally, by completing evolutionary mastery and unlocking the technology you get with genetic ascension, we can throw the fertile trait onto our people, along with the communal trait, which we did actually start with, and that will round up to give us over 100% in total to our housing usage reduction, meaning you will never need to build housing ever again and sit there right at the maximum. It is a little bit delicious. And if you're enjoying this video, you can sign up to a Spartan Lifestyle while couchsurfing and not needing any normal amenities by pressing that like button. But what if you want people that are very Spartan? Well, start with Fanatic Xenophile. That's going to reduce our pop upkeep. We're also going to be taking Conservationist to reduce pop consumer goods upkeep, as well as Environmentalist to give a further reduction. Now, at the moment, low maintenance doesn't actually work correctly. It does seem to increase your pop consumer goods upkeep rather than decrease it, but that is only a slight bug. When it is working, slapping that trait into this build would definitely help reducing our pop consumer goods usage. Of course, you want to throw down that level 3 Hypercoms forum on your capital, and if you can get a Ministry of Culture building for another 3 culture worker jobs, that would be very, very useful as well. Tithe of the Soulless will give us another 5% pop consumer goods upkeep reduction, and to top it off to 100% at the moment, you will need something like the Improved Energy Initiative or the Numismatic Visualization to get that upkeep all the way down to 0 here. And that makes your pops just about the most Spartan pops in the universe. But how about amenities? Well, when it comes to amenities, I'd recommend you start with something like Syncretic Evolution, because we can start by using the species rights to really reduce our amenities usage, along with Fanatic Spiritualist. This is the ethic that will give an amenities usage reduction from our culture workers. To start off with, you should change the syncretic species to residents and any other pops you ever find out there in the galaxy, because the resident species rights reduces pop amenities by a flat 25% to begin with. We can of course stack that with the Hypercoms forum and the Ministry of Culture getting 9 culture workers and reducing pop amenities usage by a further 45%. One Vision will reduce it by another 10%. The level 2 of ecological protection, natural sanctuaries, will reduce it by another 5%. Make sure to build a hyper relay and connect the planet to your hyper relay network via the capital. This is especially easy if it is the capital. Then you can turn on networked amenities for another 10% reduction. And cross your fingers and hope you get your hands on the Voltaeum Reality Perforator, which has a passive effect of, you guessed it, more amenities reduction, 10% in this case. Combining all of those together here, we're at minus 105% amenities usage, which means that each of these pops will not use a single amenity, and thus keeps the number of amenities on your planet very, very high. But what do you think of the new culture worker job and the changes therein? Is it just a little bit broken? Let me know down in the comments below. But what if you want to go absolutely crazy? It is, at the moment, possible to get an empire with pops that have minus 100% amenities, minus 100% pop upkeep, and minus 100% housing usage. We will need to take all three of the ethics, egalitarian, xenophile, and spiritualist, that together do provide culture workers with a reduction to each of those different things we want to reduce. Taking environmentalists will help. The opener of harmony to reduce our pop food upkeep. Of course, adaptability like before, one vision like before, all of those other things. But then we're going to get a little bit cheesy. Once you've built your first Hypercoms forum, or indeed just the level 2 culture building here, then you should, after 20 years, change over and take the Memorialist Civic. Now, this at the moment is a little bit bugged, and it's going to help us out quite a lot. You see, once we change over, we can now, with the Memorialist Civic, build a Sanctuary of Repose, because when you change from regular to Memorialist, if you have the level 2 or level 3 building, such as a Hypercoms forum here, it will not convert to the correct Memorialist building, thus allowing us to build another Sanctuary of Repose. Make sure to upgrade it to the highest possible level, and once you have a galactic memorial, you will need to wait until the 20 years have passed and you can change your government again. But at that point, all you'll want to do is get rid of Memorialist and replace it with something else. You'll notice when that happens, your galactic memorial will convert over into being a Hypercoms forum, and that's going to be absolutely delicious. You see, we now have 2 Hypercoms forums, which is greater than the maximum planet limit of 1. Oh no, and each of those is providing 6 culture workers. We can now do this again and again and again.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
And as long as you keep stacking pops on your planet, you're going to be left with a pretty bonkers situation. Here I am with 2,000 pops on my planet. They have a total food upkeep of 0, a total consumer goods upkeep of 0, and a total amenities usage of, yes, you've guessed it, 0, and housing usage of 0. Yes, they are producing quite a bit of crime, so I have had to build some halls of judgment, but because their amenities usage is 0, I've made sure to set my rights to utopian abundance. That way, all of my unemployed pops will be at the cost of 0 consumer goods, produce research points and unity. That means this one planet here is pumping out a whopping 12,000 research and 3,500 unity at the cost of 100 consumer goods in total. Yes, each of these unemployed pops is doing their duty using absolutely no housing, absolutely no amenities, and of course, with absolutely no upkeep. This is just a little bit hilarious. I think we've now found the ultimate one planet challenge build. In fact, you could even just use a single system with this build if you were to convert your capital into an ecumenopolis and then use it for the production of alloys. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see me attempt to do a one system challenge without using the culture worker job to have absolutely no upkeep, click the video on screen now.